Let's talk a little bit about Adidas. This is a super interesting story on a number of levels. We've been talking about automation and automation related unemployment. I've told you about mining trucks in Canada being automated. I've told you about Wendy's now announcing they will be replacing real human employees with order taking kiosks. And now the world famous shoe and sports apparel manufacturer Adidas, which I'm actually told, Lewis, is properly pronounced Adidas, but I don't think we're going to do that on the show. Is that fair?
No, it's too late for that.
Yeah, I'm still going to call it Adidas. They are going to start manufacturing in Germany again. They are leaving Asia and they are going to restart manufacturing of shoes and sports apparel in Germany. Sounds really expensive, right? Well, no, because they are going from Asian workers to robots in Germany. 20 years ago, when you saw worldwide manufacturing move to Asia, Adidas stopped making stuff in Germany. And now they are going back, but with automated factories. They're creating a 4,600 square meter factory, which is going to automate shoe production. Shoe production for Adidas is mostly done by hand in Asia, purportedly, allegedly, presumably, by very little hands, if you know what I mean, Lewis. This will not only enable shoes to be made faster, but it's also going to reduce the carbon footprint because the shoes are going to be manufactured closer to many of the actual sales points and sales locations. And Adidas has similar plans for an automated factory in the United States next year. Subcontractors of Adidas in Asia, in China specifically, declined to comment. Some of them said, we haven't heard anything about this. I am thinking, Lewis, to 20 years from now, when the automated factories will go back to Asia because the maintenance of the automated machines will be cheaper in Asia than it is in Germany.
Yeah. I didn't know Donald Trump was making shoes in China. Small hands. Anyway, yeah, this is, it's an interesting move. It makes sense from the company, I suppose. It's about money. They've determined that this is going to save them money. And while the working conditions in China for these children or whoever, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But how reliant are they on these jobs that we outsource to them where they are making almost no money? I mean, if we bring all of these jobs back to the U.S., what happens over there? Should we even care about what happens over there?
Well, that gets me to issue number one, which is, I've said it before and I will say it again. The argument that we should consider not automating, or that companies will consider not automating because it will kill jobs, whether it's in the United States or in China, although in China it might eliminate some child labor, which would be absolutely fantastic. It's a total non-starter. You will win nothing with that argument. And I go back to when people said, let's not develop cars. Whoa, I punched my mic and I apologize for that. Let's not develop cars because it's going to put people who work in the horse transportation industry out of jobs. It's laughable to think that that would have worked. That's sort of issue number one. Issue number two is arguably even more important. The jobs that Donald Trump says he will bring back no longer exist, and even fewer of them are going to exist 5 years from now. The low information voter who hears Trump say, I'll bring back jobs from China and Mexico, jobs which his companies exported to those countries, by the way, but that's a whole separate issue. Most of those jobs don't exist anymore. Many of them don't, and most of them won't in the future. Manufacturing is going to come back to the West, but it's not going to need any people.
I would like to see, we can make the same arguments about green energy and other things. I mean, as the automated technologies become more prominent, people do need to manufacture those machines. We need the programmers, we need the machine shops, we need the robotics, we need the construction workers to build these huge facilities. And so I don't know if ultimately all the jobs even out in the end. But
they don't. I mean, in other words, what you're pointing to is that oftentimes new technologies create whole new industries, and that's absolutely true. The difference, though, is that historically, more jobs were created by the new technology than the number that were eliminated. And now we have an understanding that the technology that is now being developed net destroys more jobs than it creates.
Right. But we hope for that utopian future where the robots provide for everybody, right?
Yeah. We might not even really need people. We could have robots live our lives too. I mean, I don't know that we need people at all.
Some people already do that
Right.
online in games.
So the silver lining is there will be less child labor, hopefully, if these companies move out of using factories in Asia, unless they plan to hire 12-year-old engineers and IT people to manage and program the robots. But hopefully that won't happen. Although, never speak too soon.